Okay, so today I wanted to talk about another book. I finished Illusions 2, Adventures of a Reluctant Student, last night, and that was interesting. I definitely would say it's the weakest of the three Richard Bach novellas. I think some things are shorter than novellas as well. Um, that I've gone over on this channel. So it was interesting, and Richard Bach talks about how he doesn't like to write, but sometimes basically he's compelled to write. Like there's a story that needs to be told. Um, Even with like Jonathan Livingston Seagull, him saying it's like the story was playing in his head and he just wrote it down in a single sitting. So he was felt the need to write this after he had a pretty horrific plane crash. Richard likes to fly planes, and he has this experimental like seaplane that he built, and he wrecked the plane, and it was pretty horrific. And so this is kind of his recollections, thoughts through recovery, and kind of contemplating the lessons he's learned from various characters from his books. So Donald Shimoda from Illusions and characters from other books, some of which I haven't read. And it felt messier, definitely less put together than his other books. He's also older than when he wrote his other books, probably a little over 80 when this book was written. And it was kind of repetitive with this like mantra, which he was trying to get at, is that you are a perfect expression of perfect love. And the idea he's kind of building on is that love is the only real thing and constant, like, that there is. And I don't have a lot to expound on with that. With Richard's books, there will be the lesson he's trying to teach, but it's also like so loose and loose that you can take a lot of things from it. This is less parable like than Illusions or Jonathan Livingston Seagull, but still, the more, for me at this point in my life while reading, and this is a fun thing about Richard's books, is that the book often means something different for you depending on where in life you are. But this concept of, and this isn't talked about explicitly really in the book, I think it's brushed on a couple times, but it's what caught in my imagination, and I've sat thinking about it a couple times since reading the book, where we live this life to learn and have experiences. Like, this is like kind of a thought. If we're here to learn and have experiences, we often build around ourselves comfort and safety, which protects us from like negative or hard experiences, because we by nature don't like having those. But at the same time, people don't really grow as a person unless they are going through some kind of like conflict or something. There has to be some drive to make change, typically. And so Richard's kind of touching on, I've flown planes for 60 years, and I've never had an accident, and now I have. But like, why did I have this accident? how did this come about? And there's kind of this concept that he had a lesson to learn. He had something to learn from this experience. And in the book, that lesson he's learning is you are a perfect expression of perfect love. And the book kind of builds on him figuring out what that means throughout the book. But for me, I was like, this is an interesting thought, that sometimes, whether consciously or unconsciously, people will seek out opportunities to learn, and that often comes in the shape of a trial of some kind. It's like, hey, you've learned and grown all that you can doing what you've been doing, so we need a new experience to go like try out, I guess. And that's been kind of an interesting thought for me. There's a lot of ways to cut that or dig into that, depending on religious or like enlightenment views. But just that concept, it's like building on the concept that, hey, we have trials to learn and grow. We, by nature, put a lot of effort into being in situations where we don't have as many of those opportunities. And so then I started thinking about, is this I don't know, it's sort of an enlightenment view to be like, okay, I need to seek out experiences so that I can learn and grow. Not necessarily, hey, I want to go make some bad stuff happen so I can figure out how to get out of this mess, but really embrace the process of learning new things and pushing yourself. Like, discomfort is important for growth in any sense. Like, even thinking about physically working out, you got to go through the discomfort to actually make any change. And I have just been thinking about how if we embrace change and growth, we're not going to shy away from hard things so much. And yeah, it's kind of fun. It's a kind of a simple concept, but reading a book like this, and it like forces you to think about it. It's not just someone telling you, hey, this is what's going on. You're having to kind of put it together and figure it out yourself a little bit. And that's a really fun process. So while Illusions 2, I think, is the weakest of the three books, Jonathan Livingston's sequel and Illusions, I do think it was a valuable read for me. And I don't know, it's not for everyone for sure. And even if it's for everyone, it's not for everyone at any time, right? But I really enjoy this type of book that just makes me think and tear into ideas and figure out what that means for me and what lessons I'm going to take from that. So if you enjoy that process, it's a pretty good book. I would definitely read Illusions before it, but yeah, it's pretty fun. This type of book, I'm like, I haven't been rating these books, and I don't know I don't know how I would rate this type of book, because I think the rating would vastly differ, probably different mindsets and points of your life that you're in. Anyways, It's very interesting, and it was a fun thought experience. So if you're into that kind of thing, I guess check it out.